João, Alberto.
It's working?
If you guys need this taller or lower, there's a button here. Okay, great.
So can we start? Yeah. Hello. Hi. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this exciting event on the role of education, science, and technology for the survival of the Amazon. Today, we have two panels, each one of them followed by a Q&A session. We have translation to Portuguese, so if you want to access the translation, please join our Zoom link. There is a QR code on the table. If you want, I can bring this to you. And then you have just to go to Zoom. There is an interpretation button on the bottom, and you click in Portuguese or English, depending on who's speaking. So without further ado, I would like to invite for this first panel, Ms. Emma Torres. Emma is the strategic coordinator of the science panel for the Amazon, and she's also the vice president of the Americas and New York, the head of New York office at the Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Carlos Nobre, who is the co-chair of the science panel for the Amazon and senior researcher of the Institute of the Advanced Studies at the University of São Paulo. Professor Adalberto Val, who is a senior researcher at the Brazilian National Institute for Research of the Amazon, and María Luiza Paiva, who is the Sustainability Executive Vice President at VALE. So thank you, everyone. And Emma, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this panel. We have a hybrid panel, so we have a lot of people in different countries of the region, so we welcome them also to this conversation. I'm Emma Torres, and I'm a strategic coordinator of the science panel for the Amazon, and it's a great pleasure to be here with all of you. The science panel for the Amazon convenes more than 250 scientists from the region, including indigenous peoples and global partners. Its main mission is to synthesize and communicate scientific knowledge about the Amazon, integrated with indigenous local knowledge to accelerate solutions for sustainable and equitable development. The Science Panel for the Amazon Assessment Report is known as the Encyclopedia of the Amazon, and it makes a compelling case for conservation, restoration, and solutions to advance sustainable development pathways in the region. The biodiversity of terrestrial and freshwater ecosystems of the Amazon is under threat due to deforestation, habitat fragmentation, overexploitation, pollution, and climate change. Agricultural expansion, particularly cattle ranching, remains one of the most important drivers of the Amazon deforestation, but road construction and mining cause direct deforestation when forest areas is lost under these activities. However, their indirect impact is even more significant. Both activities stimulate migration, the expansion of the agricultural frontier, urbanization, and new settlements. It's in this context that the Science Panel of the Amazon engaged in a dialogue with private sector companies operating in the Amazon to strongly advocate with science and evidence base for a dramatic transformational change of their operations to support conservation and sustainable development, including investing in science, technology, and innovation that leverages biological and cultural diversity and that prioritize the protection of indigenous peoples, their local languages and territories. The Amazon Summit of Presidents in Belém gave a high priority to science, technology, and innovation, and to enhance the capacity of the research institutions that are working in the region. We welcome the panel and look forward to learn from different perspectives and examples of initiatives that are working on this agenda. The Science Panel of the Amazon is also issuing a number of policy briefs on strategic issues that are important for the agenda of the region, like sustainable infrastructure, bioeconomy, tipping points, arcs of restoration. So the idea is that the panel will continue this dialogue with different issues that are of emerging priority for the region to contribute to policy making and, as I said, to engage with the private sector for an advocacy role for science and evidence-based solutions. Thank you all very much and welcome to the panel.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you for presenting the Science Panel for the Amazon and the importance of investing in science, technology, and innovation. And now I'd like to invite to the floor Professor Carlos Nobre.
Good morning to all. Thank you very much. As Emma mentioned, we have to find some nature-based solutions. So I'm going to talk about this project that we are developing in the Amazon called Amazonia 4.0, how to really develop a new economy, standing forest and flowing rivers economy. Let me just start by just saying how close the Amazon is of a tipping point. I'm just showing here the forest is very efficient recycling water, not the degraded pasture. During the dry season, the forest recycles 3 more times, 4.5 liters of water per square meter, compared to 1.5 liters of water in the pasture. So that's why the dry season is becoming much longer over the southern Amazon. And also a recent study showed the fire generates a lot of smoke, pollution, and the dry season is longer, 4 to 5 weeks longer, drier, hotter, but also there is a health impact. 150,000 cases per year of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, thousands of people dead per year due to the pollution caused by fires. So the Amazon is very close to a tipping point, very, very close. So that's why the panel has established and looked for many nature-based solutions. These are, Emma mentioned already, the key messages from the assessment report, the moratorium on deforestation, degradation, fires, zero deforestation by 2030, degradation as well, and then nature-based solutions, larger scale forest conservation and restoration, and a new bioeconomy of standing forests and flowing rivers. So I will focus on the last point, which is the Amazonia 4.0, this biodiversity, creativity, and technology. This is a project we started a few years ago, and we created NGO, Amazonia 4.0 Institute. So this is the concept, trying to show, it's a small scale, of course, but just to try to show what we do. This is really how to demonstrate the feasibility of this new social bioeconomy. I think this is what we want to demonstrate, the feasibility of that. Why we do, also, as Emma mentioned, the panel look at how to merge traditional and indigenous people's knowledge with science. So this is in our Amazonia 4.0, is how to demonstrate this feasibility in a few cases. As I said, the forest is very close to the tipping point, so that's why we need really to find solutions. So it's not only to demonstrate that the Amazon may turn into this degraded ecosystem, open canopy degraded ecosystem. If that happens, more than 250 billion tons of carbon dioxide will be released, making it almost impossible to reach the Paris Agreement targets. And so basically, we say, this Amazonia 4.0 Institute is really fully engaged in managing this change to overcome the climate crisis and the biodiversity crisis as well. So this is our main goal. And we look for new solution opportunities to keep forests standing and alive. So this is the idea, small scale project, but just to demonstrate the feasibility of this new economy. We have several components in this project. I will very briefly review some of these components. The first component is what we call Amazon Creative Laboratories. We are designing, and we have designed several of these laboratories for cocoa, cupuaçu as well. Cupuaçu is a close relative to cocoa. Also Brazil nuts, and I should really thank WWF, Mauricio, because they funded the design of this laboratory, the Brazil nuts laboratory. These 4 high quality cooking oils, Brazil nuts, buriti, tucumã, patauá. Also, we designed a laboratory for genome sequencing. It's important. The greatest potential of the Amazon is biodiversity genome sequencing. People estimated that the genome sequencing, DNA, will be an industry of $1 trillion starting 2030. So the Amazon has that potential, and also acai berry. We design all these things, but we construct the first one, the cocoa and cupuaçu laboratory. So basically, we want to go to communities to start doing capacity development in several Amazonian communities in these Amazon Creative Labs. As I mentioned, we construct this first one, and this is the just to give an idea how important it is to bioindustrialization. Just most in the Amazon, they produce the seeds, cocoa seeds, to produce chocolate, and this is the factor, a factor of 10, 20 when you do the industrialization. $2 per kilo of seeds, and you go to $20, $40 per kilo in chocolate, just to give you the importance. So that's the Amazonia 4.0. We want to demonstrate that using modern technology, Industry 4.0, we can really improve a lot the quality of life of the Amazonian population. So as I said, this first laboratory, which has been taken to the Amazon now, we are going to do capacity development of 4 communities, the Resex, Tapajós, Arapiuns, also Women Association Producers of Cupuaçu, Amabela, Afro-descendant community, Mujumiri, and the riverine community, Acara River. So they are 3 producers of cocoa, 1 producer of cupuaçu. They are more than 200 people. We will run through this capacity development. And in particular, we are already starting, in a few weeks, we start the first capacity development. This is the Resex, Tapajós, Arapiuns, and this is the Surucuá community, including indigenous people. And you can see here the people that we put together to organize this activity. So basically, that's the concept, capacity development of many communities. And then the idea would be how to start developing biofactories all over the Amazon to do value adding to the Amazon forest products. So the idea would be really to start attracting investments and support to construction of many of these biofactories. And of course, I mean, ideally speaking, sometimes we call it the Amazon is the Silicon Valley of biodiversity, which is really the challenge of creating these ecosystems of innovation, sustainability, and business. It's a big challenge, but I think that's the way to construct a standing forest social bioeconomy in the Amazon. We have to develop these ecosystems of innovation, sustainability, and business. I mentioned the first component, which is the Amazon Creative Labs. We are looking for also funding for these other laboratories, Brazil nuts, genome sequencing, fine cooking oils, acai berry. The other component is Amazonia Rainforest Business School. We design the idea of 20 courses to develop. This is being done in partnership with the Institute of Advanced Studies. We here see the director, Ari Plonsky, University of São Paulo. Marita Koch-Weser is the leader of this construction of this Amazonia Rainforest Business School. So we hope to have these 20 courses distributed all along the Amazon basin, Portuguese, Spanish, and English, to construct for students to be able to develop this new economy. So this is another component. Adalberto Val will soon talk about one more component, which is the feasibility study to create Amazonia Institute of Technology. So I will not say much about that. Adalberto Val will tell you what the idea of creating some kind of an MIT in the Amazon. And also, we have already established partnerships with indigenous women associations, how to bring the indigenous people to work together for this inclusive social bioeconomy initiative. So we want to bring many indigenous populations, particularly women, indigenous women, to be partner. For instance, the one indigenous group in southwestern Amazon, Rondônia State in Brazil, Paiter Surui indigenous group, they produce cocoa seeds. They want to produce a bio factory. They want to really do industrialization to produce chocolate. So it's interesting because we are looking for ways for developing this biofactor for this indigenous group, and that will be the first time ever in Brazilian history that an indigenous group do industrialization. Many indigenous communities, they want a combination of their knowledge with the science knowledge for innovative technology. This is really one of the key messages of the science panel for the Amazon. So the Amazonia 4.0 is trying to demonstrate the feasibility, going into the field and demonstrate the feasibility of that. So this is very much what the Amazonia 4.0 project is. It's a lot inspired by the science panel for the Amazon, and it's going to the field and trying to demonstrate the feasibility. So basically, this is the rationale, innovative social bioeconomy for agroforestry system, mostly communities as protagonists, natural resource for the generation of added value, all links in the chain benefited, leveraging multiple sectors of the economy, innovation, production, business, inside and outside the Amazon, local employment, social inclusion, and conservation. So the biofactor is 4.0, all over the Amazonian territory, transforming biological and cultural wealth into economic wealth, and prevailing economic force working for the conservation and development of the Amazon. So this is the rationale. But as you see, the connectivity, this is a demonstration that the science panel for the Amazon key messages are so important, and we want to demonstrate feasibility of that. So I just want to finish by saying this is one of the key messages of the panel, how to develop a nature-based solutions, how to merge science with knowledge of indigenous people, local communities, to develop this new social bioeconomy of standing forests and flowing rivers. This is really a big challenge, but we have to face it. And I will finish by saying the main message, the main conclusions of the science panel for the Amazon. Let's save the Amazon. Let's save the Amazon people and our key message. That's really what we want. That's the Amazon we want. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for presenting this really important initiative, the importance of having the communities as protagonists. And I would like now to invite Dr. Adalberto Val. Adalberto Val will be joining us on Zoom. Can you hear us, Val?
Yes, let me share my screen here. Are you seeing my screen? Is that okay? Are you seeing my screen, Isabella?
Yes, yes, Adalberto. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to present this idea here. I call it a gold mine for humanity, from SPA to AIME. You have here my directions. Let me take the laser point here. You have my directions here, my email, my Twitter, my Instagram. When talking about the Amazon, we must remember that the Amazon is a big region that extends across all the north part in North America. And so it's part of Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Suriname, Guyana, French Guyana, and of course Brazil makes the Pan-Amazonia, the Amazon biome. I think that SPA, Science Panel for the Amazon, released one of the most comprehensive reports about the Amazon recently. And this report are basically 3 major books, part 1, part 2, and part 3. And the part 1, the Amazon as a regional entity for the Earth system. Part 2, anthropogenic drivers and impacts in the Amazon. And part 3, the solution space, finding sustainable pathways for the Amazon. I think that the backbone of this report is basically a coalition, a cross-fertilization among all these aspects of the Amazon. What's very, very important, very important. Until now, we have seen isolated aspects about the Amazon, but the Amazon must be seen as an entity, and so all these parts making the whole idea about the Amazon. The SPA vision and mission is reported here. The vision, a global authority providing state-of-the-art, policy-relevant science and knowledge about the Amazon. This is very, very important. We have information about the Amazon spread all over the world, in many different laboratories, in many different countries. So the basic idea is to have this all together. So the mission in the end would be to synthesize and communicate scientific knowledge about the Amazon, integrated with indigenous and local knowledge to accelerate solutions for sustainable and equitable development. I think Carlos presented very, very well this idea, the application of this idea in the Amazonian 4.0. So the SPA main goal was to provide a comprehensive, objective, open, and transparent platform to systemize information for a rigorous scientific assessment of the state-of-the-art of Amazon's ecosystem and its people. So based on this information, the SPA examined trends, examined in this report that I mentioned, and then will examine trends and implications for the long-term well-being of the region, as well as explore opportunities and policy-relevant options for the conservation and sustainable development of the Amazon. So, in synthesis, the idea is to provide basis for science-based decision-making, advocating for investments in science. That's very, very important. If we take the investments made in the Amazon, is just fragile. In Brazil, around 3% of the investments in science and technology go to the Amazon, and the investment in the other Amazonian country is as fragile as well. So it's very important to, to advocate investments in science from other important sources around the world, and also to use the information that we have produced along the years. So use science to to support the decision making. When talking about the Amazon, we have to remember that the Amazon has a history of tectonic and climate change along the years. The Neogene uplift of the northern Andes around 23 to 2.6 million years ago had profound effects on Amazon landscape and its diversity. In fact, this uplift of the northern Andes, determined the course of the biodiversification in the Amazon. We have multiple interglacial climate cycles around 2.6 million years ago that acted as a species pump. I like to remember that the extinction rates is just half of the speciation rate that we have estimated to be around 0.05 to 0.2 speciation events per million species per year in the Amazon. So this means a very fast speciation system in the region. And so this is one of the reasons that we have many, many different species in the Amazon. The Amazon is a gold mine for better living of humanity. And, just to give an example, the Amazon River has near 7,000 kilometers, is paralleled only by the Nile River. That means around 275,000 cubic meters of water is poured in the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, per second. That means 20% of all fresh water entering the oceans worldwide. So water is a big problem in the world. And we have in the Amazon a tremendous source for this better living of humanity regarding water availability. And also a tremendous biodiversity. I got here some fish species, some of the 3,000 different fish species we have in the Amazon. As an example, this Peabiru that grows up to 15 kilos in the first years of life and grows up to 250 kilos over its life. And a tremendous diversity of plants and insects in the fungus and bacteria in the region. So this tremendous biodiversity hidden another important molecular information in that. So science, technology, and innovation are needed to review what is hidden in the forest. Some example here about the Rio Negro DOC, dissolved organic carbon, that protect the fish of the Rio Negro. Rio Negro is basically an acidic water system, and the DOC allow the fish to live under these conditions. The burgeoning is another important product that is hidden in the forest. The ellipticity, that's an important system to control the Plasmodium falciparum. But there are hidden risks as well. You know, the biodiversity from one side that, have lots of things with economic importance for the people in general. There is a lot of hidden risks in the forest as new viruses and bacteria that can cause new pandemics. So we have to be aware about these things. And based on this information, we come out with this idea of the Amazonian Institute of Technology, the AMIT, in collaboration with several institutions, RPAU, MIT Brazil, the Advanced Institute of USP, and Amazonian 4.0. We have to remember that we have near 50 million people living in the Amazon. So it's a tremendous important market for many regional products. But we have some challenges: social biodiversity, regional geopolitics, use of scientific information, decoding of information and outreach, life quality and better income should be improved in the region. And only with sustainable technology that is possible to overcome all these challenges. So the mission of the AMIT is to transform knowledge into technological innovation at the service of the Pan-Amazon region. So try to locate new opportunities and transform the knowledge in this innovation for the people, for a better life of the people in the region. So the basic idea behind the Institute is to analyze problem-oriented thinking and solution-oriented thinking. So this critical thing related to the problem is why we have that problem. What is the problem? What are the solutions needed for that problem? So we have to have the creative thinking about the Amazon and find how we can solve the problem. I put this regional boat here just to remind you that to deliver, for example, 1 liter of diesel in the north part of the Brazilian Amazon, from Manaus to there, we have to burn 4 liters of programs from undergrad to postdoctoral level, appropriate to the Amazon reality for decoding existing information with market potential and technological viability. The region, the Amazon region, cannot survive on imported information from other ecosystems. We have to develop now the information that we need to protect, and to protect the region, to protect the ecosystem, the forest, and the flowing rivers, and to have the information for better quality, life quality for the people of the region. So we have designed this institute with 5 different research and development hubs. One is Amazonian waters. The other one is urban Amazonia, forest and social biodiversity, distributed landscapes, and sustainable infrastructure. And these hubs must work together because we want to have a solution, an integrated solution for the major problems of the region, not as a separated hubs as we have in different places, but as an integrated system to analyze the problems of the region. The Amazon rivers will be used as arteries of knowledge to a dynamic and collaborative model. This is the reason that the AMIT will be a Pan-Amazonian institute. We will have several regional networks involving all the countries, all the Amazonian countries. So the basic roadmap of the region is to have in 2031 some functional network that is able to develop some new information, have some social inclusion, and have improved incoming of the people and some activities related to environmental conservation. We have to think small, but think big, but start with small activities there. So the basic idea is connect people and forest for a better life. You know, it's possible to collect the Peabiru, but the most important is the information that we have behind each organism that we have in the Amazon. Why Peabiru grows up to 15 kilos in the first year of life? There is no other organism that grows so fast and produce so large amount of protein for people in general. And the same thing occurs with other different fruits of the region. Cacao is one of that, acai berry, and Brazil nuts, some of the products that we have in the Amazon. But we have to think about overcoming the climate and biodiversity crises and their societal impacts in the region. Treating climate, biodiversity, and human society as a coupled system is the key to successful outcomes. To be successful, conservation climate actions must go hand in hand with landscapes, both in cities and rural areas, as we discussed in this last paper we published in Science. So the AMIT is an integrated way to analyze the opportunities in the Amazon to conserve the system, forest and flowing rivers, and make opportunities and make available opportunities to a better life of the people of the region. This is the Amazon that we want. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Adalberto, for presenting the incredible richness of the Amazon and the new Pan-Amazonian Amazon Institute of Technology. I would like now to invite Malu Paiva, María Luiza Paiva. Thank you, Malu.
Good morning to everybody. Well, how does it work? Here. Okay. As already said, I am Malu Paiva from VALE. I'm in charge of sustainability at the company for 2 years now. I'm new to the sector, not only to VALE, but to the sector as well. First time I work here. And let me share with you what we are doing, what we think about Amazonia. First thing is important to recognize that our business do impact, right? Do impact the environment, do impact the people, right? Mining is essential for humanity. So the challenge is how to mine responsible, and more responsible, you know, trying to make sure that we evolve, that we stop, think, get feedback, engage with people to understand impacts and possibilities of change, you know, but keep keep moving in terms of going for more and more responsible operation. We impact, and at the same time, we depend on nature. So we are the first ones that think on a very egoistic way. We impact and we depend, so we do need to take good care, okay, of the Amazon region. And here you see we have below 6 pillars that are how we organize our initiatives toward the Amazon biome. So working, looking, making sure that we are also engaged with recovery and protection of the forest. I will give more information on the next slides. Bioeconomy is one of our biggest investments now in the Amazon. For us, we are trying to make everything we can to make sure that we are creating environmental and social impact at the same time. And the bioeconomy has been one of a good source of initiatives for it. We also have the Instituto Tecnológico VALE. We have this Institute of Science and Research for more than 13 years now. So for us, being the Amazon, the Institute is based in Belém. Being the Amazon we do need a very strong science with us to make sure that we are really going in the right direction. Ensuring access to social, as I said, through bioeconomy. We also have now, we set a goal of contributing to the uplifting of 500,000 people out of 500,000 people out of extreme poverty. And some of these people are here in the Amazon and that we are going to work for. And a lot of nature-based solutions, and we also finance for scale. That for me is one of our biggest challenges. I don't think that's only about VALE, but the scale up, you have already good cases, good business cases, being in restoration, being protection, being the bioeconomy field, but how to scale up? This is for me one of our biggest challenge. Here, it's our operations from 1973 up to now. That's what happened in the region where we are present, okay? There's part here. The red part, it's where we mine, okay? The green part that's left, it's the 800,000 hectares that we are responsible for as a conditionant, okay? So look what happened around it. The only preserved area is the area that the VALE is responsible for the preservation. And we have to also, we do that together with ICMBio, okay, the environmental agency, and with the Xikrin. I cannot show it here, but on the left side here is the Xikrin land, okay, the indigenous groups, our neighbors. We are their neighbors, and they help to protect. So together with them and with ICMBio, the 800,000 is conserved, but is protected. I mean, that's not something that we did well, our part, okay? The 800,000, as you can see, it's still on a very good shape, and our mine represents less than 3% of the area, and this less of 3% of this area represents 60% of all VALE products, okay? Everything that you generate in terms of the product comes out of this 3%. As you can see here, we call this area the Carajás Mosaic, okay? We have 6 protected areas within this land on top of the Xikrin area as well. I think that's, and another thing that's important in this area is where you find the best high quality iron ore of the world. Okay, that's the meaning of the Amazon region for VALE. It has 67% of quality, what's the highest you can meet in all the world. So, and how do we work there? Collaboration is the word, okay? We are working on too many different initiatives, and what we do is mainly, okay, We have to be connected with the global goals, okay, SDGs, etc., and the global vision. I always say that Amazon is a cause of humanity, so how you keep connected, not reinvent things, but really work towards already set as a global ambition for it, and not doing everything by itself. So first of all, co-create. If a project does not exist, we are not going to do it by ourselves. We are going to look for partners. If we find groups, companies, associations that are already working well on something that we think it's important, we can contribute, we are going to finance them. So what already is going well, let's help. What does not exist, we think it's important, let's co-create. And at the same time, we do have to make advocacy, okay? It's a region where you still need a lot of good legislations to help to enhance the region, the care of the region. And then some practical examples. Can you read it? Yeah, more or less, no, yes, I realize that the colors are not good, sorry about it. Here, we are putting here not what is our obligation, like the 100,000, it's our obligation, but here is much more what we believe we can do, okay, the legacy that we want to leave. So I already mentioned that we have the Instituto Tecnológico VALE for 13 years now. As you can see, we do have students, masters being prepared through our ITV, as well as scientific publication, so to share the knowledge. We invested in this 13 year, almost $160 million, 12,000 biodiversity genetic references, what we already have in there, 50 genomes being sequenced. We started it last year. It's a huge program at ITV. I would say that today, nowadays, it's one of our key programs. We have 3 patents granted and also software registered applied. But what I want to say is that ITV works, generates value for VALE and for society, okay? We share the knowledge that's created there. We are very, very proud of developing new professionals on this area, okay? Most of them, actually, many of them are from the northern region. That's important to create a wave of professionals from that region. Through Fundo VALE, we go to the bioeconomy pillar, okay? Through Fundo VALE, we are supporting, investing as seed money. In the beginning, we started as a philanthropy type of fund. In nowadays, much more an impact investment type of fund, right? But during this period, also 13 years, we invested in more than 200 impact business, right? Good ones that nowadays are being invested through our companies, but really creating social and economic value. And that's working quite well so far. We also, Fundo VALE, responsible. We want to restore and protect in total 500,000 hectares outside our fences. Right, has not to do with our obligation. So Fundo VALE is the one also who manages this challenge of the 500,000. We have VALE Foundation focus on health, education, income generation, and poverty alleviation, right? So a lot of was already done in the region. We work very much on how to empower, how to make the management of the schools, the quality of the professionals, that the teachers that works in this school or in a public health unit, we help them to be develop as well the infrastructure, for instance, of the health units. We provide this infrastructure to guarantee that, I always say, a child sick does not learn. So it's not enough to think about the school. How can I make sure that they also have a good health? And an adult sick does not work. So I have the health and I have the income generation. That's the whole idea, you know, how you work on a more systemic type of approach. Well, you see, you have a lot of data here. And we have the Instituto Cultural VALE today, is the largest cultural investor in Brazil. It's a very important, and looking at it on how, I always say that culture develops people, right? Culture develops society. Culture brings more consciousness to the people. So we are also using it to help us. And regarding the indigenous people, that I was listening, I think that's one part that we can really, I think, go further on how to integrate the traditional knowledge to all our experience. But we are support young indigenous people, 100 scholarships so that they can stay at the university, being able to complete the whole cycle. We have already some of them that were already graduated. We restitute all mining rights that we used to have in the indigenous land. VALE does not own any mineral rights in indigenous land. We did that last year. We also support the illegal mining projeto de lei, how we say, law being developed, yes, in Brazil. Okay, but then a lot of investments. Actually, we have a goal that by 2030 we will be able to have all the communities, the indigenous communities that we work for, with their plans of life in accordance with the United Nations rights for the indigenous people ready. You know, we are supporting them on it. The other one is just more examples. We don't need to go to, but as you can see, everything is done on a collaborative way. Okay, we are working with the genomic project with other people. Belterra is an example of the bioeconomy running. Biomas is a company that's formed by all these 6 companies with a very challenging goal. For the next 20 years, we want to restore 400 million hectares. We also have tools to protect more the Amazon. I already talked the foundation, and we are working now also on how to help the Amazonians to get broadband internet. And to finish, we are doing a lot, okay, but we think we can do more. And this more is very much how to integrate it, to use the fact that we are so big in that region. We have the responsibility to making sure that we are leveraging all the capabilities that we have together with others, right? So we want to join forces, and we hope to be part of this good business case. When you look at what is going on around us, around the 800,000, we are not proud of it. We are proud about the good work we have been doing on preserving the 800,000, but it's not good to have the whole area deforested around us. So we have to think on how can we help also to end this situation. Isabella.
Thank you, Malu, for highlighting the importance of collaboration and presenting the work of VALE, ITV, and Fundevale. I would like now to open the floor for questions and answers. We are accepting questions here from the floor, but also from Zoom. So does anybody has a question? Well, we have some things coming from Zoom. So the first question, Carlos, Emma, or Malu can answer, or Adalberto, if you're hearing us. The Brazilian government is planning a bioeconomy project. How can this be done while remunerating local people and their ancestral knowledge with patents, royalties, for example?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's very promising, these new policies of the Brazilian government, federal government, also some states in the Amazon, like state of Pará. They are promoting policies to develop this new economy, as SPA has indicated this, and SPA launched innovative policy brief during the Amazon Summit 6 weeks ago, this so-called new social bioeconomy of healthy standing forests and flowing rivers. So we have really to develop this economy in the whole Amazon, in particular in Brazil. We need to have support of many policies, particularly the policy that will lead to zero deforestation, the policy that will improve a lot the knowledge. You know, Alberto VALE mentioned this dream of creating the Amazon Institute of Technology, how important that would be to, and this Amazon Institute of Technology, as Adalberto mentioned, is also very challenging. And the panel has put that challenge from the beginning, how to merge knowledge of indigenous people and local communities with science. We don't know how to do it. So we have to do it. The Amazon Institute of Technology also will bring indigenous people, indigenous scientists. So this is a big challenge. And we, fortunately, in many Amazonian countries, I would say Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, we really are, governments are moving along that line. So in Brazil in particular, we hope also to have contributions of Fundo VALE and other to move towards that new social bioeconomy. So yes, for sure, we hope the Brazilian government policies will be very effective in moving very rapidly, as the panel has said, and the Amazon Summit in the long statements there, 4 times they mentioned the Amazon is very close to the tipping point. So it's urgent to get to zero deforestation, degradation, fires. And then we have to create, let's say within a decade or so, we should have already demonstrated the feasibility and start implementing this new social bioeconomy.
If I just may add, one point here, which is, I think, very critical in the question that was made. It was that to really respect the indigenous people's rights, their cultures, their diversity, and their territories. I think this is critical, and I'm sure in the law of the Brazilian government, this will be taken into account, and this is absolutely essential for expanding the social bioeconomy that the panel is advocating.
Thank you, Emma and Carlos. I forgot to mention that this question was from Paulo Schuler. Now we have a question from the floor. If you can say your name.
Hi, I'm Caroline Levi. I'm Brazilian and also entrepreneur. And I would like to know, how do you see these amazing technologies that are being developed by university go into market and to real life and start a new business? And also, do you see different projects related to having more women in leadership positions running this business? So, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned in the Amazonia 4.0 project, we have already established a partnership with the Association of Indigenous Women. So we want to bring indigenous women. I mean, historically, you know, a lot of indigenous science is really led by women for thousands of years. So we really want to demonstrate the feasibility of, you know, engaging the local communities, the indigenous people, including indigenous women, into this new development. It's a big challenge. I'm not going to say it's easy, but that's what we want to do. And the panel has indicated this direction, and that the panel is producing very new policy briefs, really how to move in that direction. Sustainable infrastructure, even carbon markets, the potential of social biodiversity. So, you know, we have to move along that direction.
Yes. Well, from a company perspective, we organized ourselves putting together the Instituto Tecnológico VALE, the Fundo VALE, and the Cultural Institute, okay? Why? Because we have to make sure that those cross knowledges are being implemented. So today, in some of our business, the bioeconomy business, startups, whatever are the stage that they are, their needs are considered at the Instituto Tecnológico Vale, okay? So some like cocoa or other is being developed, the knowledge is being developed here and transferred to some of them, okay? So that's what we try to do. We have to combine efforts. The same thing goes for when I say social, okay? We want to help people to leave poverty. I need a lot of people to collect seeds, okay, to plant the trees. So how can we combine those goals? That's the way we are trying to work. I always say it's not about systemic thinking, it's active thinking, it's acting systemically, okay? So I do believe in your first question, my answer is, I do believe it's possible to transfer. And the second one, as I mentioned before, we have already supported more than 200 business. I don't know the number of women leading those business. That's a good question. Okay, I know now that we have many women because now I am at the company. I'm being in touch with them. But if I look through the history, I don't have the answer. I will check. Now I think we are in the right direction.
Let me just add one more element. I have already responded to Alberto Val as well. We need to develop the Amazon Institute of Technology. It's not only the top science being developed in the top universities all over the world, and then to bring to the Amazon the solutions that were not developed in the Amazon. So that's why the concept, Amazon Institute of Technology, this Institute of VALE is one of them, but the idea here is much broader. All Amazonian countries, a quality of top level Institute of Technology, and then for undergraduate, graduate, thousands of students a year for this new social bioeconomy. So it has to be developed in the Amazon.
Yeah, Isabella? Can I make a comment?
Adalberto, I would like to make a question. But maybe you want to do the comment first because it's on what has been said.
Yeah, the comment here is, I recently I saw a talk from André Baniwa, and he made a criticism to the word inclusive, and I think that it's very important that we can share the knowledge, the indigenous knowledge, and the contemporary knowledge, but never try to impose the knowledge to each other groups. No, I think that is very important to use the information from women and also from indigenous women and the knowledge that we develop in the laboratories, and share this knowledge and put them together. They do not contrast to each other, but they are complements, and this is very important. And we, of course, to cultural reasons, we should allow people to choose the information they need for a better life. And it is very important also to have more representatives of indigenous women and indigenous people in the parliament in Brazil in general, you know, particularly from the Amazon. Manaus city, for example, has the largest city group of indigenous people, and they should find the opportunities for their lives in the city as well. You know, this is their option. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Belén Páez from Ecuador, also a member of the scientific panel. And I have a comment, and also I have perhaps a recommendation. And in regarding, first, congratulations on the creation of the Amazon MIT Hub and Institute. I will ask Adalberto how you can see indigenous youth, indigenous participation, not just through universities, but technology institutes into the collaboration with the Amazon, MIT, how we can engage even elders from those communities that they have this traditional knowledge meant that they are still having in their communities, and they need to pass on his youth, new generations that are already in these technological institutions that there are in Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, how we can connect with them and engage them into this path on the working groups. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, Maria, that's a central point. It is very important to mention that AMIT is a Pan-Amazonian institute and should have most of the people from the Amazon working in the institute, including indigenous people. The several universities here in the region have prepared indigenous groups in different areas of knowledge. So the basic idea is to have these people working together. I should stress the word, together with the people from other institutions, so they can share the knowledge and they build the sustainable technologies that are needed to protect the Amazon and to have better life quality for the people of the region. So the AMIT is an institute at the service of the whole Amazon, the whole biome. And in the whole biome, we have the indigenous people that had an important contribution to conserve the region over time. So they have important knowledge that can be shared. And of course, they should be part of the solutions.
Belén, I just want to add to Alberto that we are at this point exactly putting together, and I'm sure you're going to be invited, a group of people to carry out a study. I'm looking for funding for that study, which is, we have already contacted 5 indigenous leaders, 4 women leaders of local communities in the Amazon, how really to develop ways for the Amazon Institute of Technology to merge the knowledge of indigenous people and local communities with science. So we are trying to run this study now. You're going to be invited.
Thank you, Carlos.
I think we can take one more question here from the floor and one from Zoom, and then we can go to the coffee break.
So good morning. Congratulations on the session. I'm Paulo Nussensweig, Provost for Research and Innovation at the University of São Paulo. Carlos and Adalberto, and everybody. So you mentioned that we're very close to a tipping point, but we don't know precisely what that tipping point is, right? I have some information that given that there was very little oversight for deforestation in the Amazon over the past 4 years, that a lot of people are taking advantage that it's still not back in place to try and get rid of as much of forest as possible before that happens. So how can we enforce the zero deforestation policy going forward? Second question is about the MIT. I'm very much enthusiastic about the project. Do we have already a final version of the project, and how far are we before this sees the light of day?
Paulo, I will respond the first one, and I will ask Adalberto to respond to your second one. Climate scientists, we are so concerned. The Amazon is so close to the tipping point, and tipping point means irreversible. if the Amazon exceeds the tipping point, then it will, within 30 to 50 years, it will 50 to 70% of the forest will become open canopy degraded ecosystem. Why we are so close to the tipping point? Because all over southern Amazon, the dry season is 4 to 5 weeks lengthier. I mean, this is as serious as the Arctic Ocean to be 4 degrees warmer. I mean, this is terrible. And all of southern Amazon, the forest has become a carbon source. It's losing more carbon than removing. So it's the edge of this tipping point. That's why, you know, as you've seen, the first key message of the science panel assessment report 2021-2026 was moratorium on deforestation, degradation, fire in southern Amazon, zero deforestation before 2030 all over the Amazon. So that's why I'm saying we are really at the edge of this tipping point. Science shows that very clearly. Alberto can answer your second question.
Yes, yes. I just like to add some information about tipping point as well. I'm sorry about that. I think that when we talk about tipping point, we are talking about deforestation and forget to talk about the impacts of climate changes in general, particularly warming. Fish of the Amazon, for example, I'm talking about most of the fish used as a protein source for the people in the Amazon are living very, very close to the upper thermal limit. Many fish species is about 0.7, 0.8 degrees far from what they can support under natural metabolism. So it's a very big problem. And the second, photosynthesis. There are several systems in several places in the region that the temperature is kind of degrading the enzymes that do the photosynthesis. So that's a big problem. It's not only the deforestation, but it's the whole system that impacts the region. Regarding the AMIT, we intend to have the final version of the feasibility study by the end of this year, beginning of next year. We have the experts working on documents right now in Peru, in Colombia, in Brazil. We have a first version of the document of the Brazilian expert, and also some documents from the supporting groups, cyberspace, for example. So we intend to have all these documents by the end of this year and put all together and have the program, the final version of the feasibility study beginning next year. But we did already start some activities. We have a program approved by the Fulbright for people from MIT coming down to the Amazon and doing some experiments on fish package for transporting the animals to consuming markets in the south part of South America and outside the country. So that's the point we are now.
Thank you, Carlos and Adalberto. We'll have just 2 minutes for the last question coming from Zoom. This is from Stefan Kepler. Amazonia people have the lowest educational indices. How do you think you'll be able to bring them up to be independent of continuous help of foreign intelligence?
I don't think that there is a silver bullet that will solve it. Okay, it's a lot of efforts being put together. So we do need to work from the very beginning of these people, these kids on the school. So you do have to work to establish, and we are doing that, and we are measuring their development regarding maths, regarding reading, okay? But you have to start with the young ones, and after COVID, most of them left school and didn't come back. We do have an effort to get back. I have a group that takes only care of how to convince kids, mothers, fathers to put them back in the school. We still have people, a lot of kids outside school after COVID. So get them into the school, keep them into the school, help the schools to have better infrastructure, but more than it to be better managed, and teachers that can really being developed as they go. That's for the young ones. At the same time, you have to think about when you're talking about teenagers or very young adults. At the same time you work with them here, you do have to work with this group, okay, helping them to develop skills that they can find ways of being developed by themselves. Some of them will go to university, maybe some of them will attend technical courses, and that's going to be good for them, right? So I think we have to think about the whole cycle. I think no government will do it alone, no company will do it alone. Okay, it's about coordinating efforts and with a medium long-term view. Okay, we need the whole cycle for some of them. When we are supporting the indigenous people at the university, it will help them also, to fight better for their rights, for their knowledge. So from my point of view, it's about putting a lot of efforts together on a short, medium, long.
Needless to say, developed countries like US, any developed country, fundamental education is public education, high quality. This is not the case for Brazil. Brazil, public education, fundamental education, middle-level education is not at the top quality. So this is a big challenge, not only in the Amazon, certainly in the Amazon also, but this is the big challenge. We have, in Brazil, we have to overcome that. We have to invest, governments have to invest much more in fundamental and middle-level education. If we fail to do it, we are never going to be sustainable developed countries.
I would like Isabella to add one point too. Thank you, Stefano, for your question. Yes, in fact, we don't have a silver bullet, but I think that is very important to connect the people to their environment through science. Science, science related to the Amazon. We have to use the information about the Amazon to train the people, to teach the people, so we don't disconnect the people, the young kids, from their environments. And regarding well-trained people, I think that is very important to hire and have more well-trained people working in the Amazon. We are losing a lot of people to other countries and also to other parts of the South America. So it's very important to hire the people and have the people here in the Amazon.
I would like to comment. We are at the second day of the SDG Summit, and we are all, hoping that the summit will culminate with actions and commitments to achieve the goals by 2030. The Secretary General has launched this SDG stimulus plan, and the idea here is long-term investment, and especially on education, quality education for all, health. So these are basic pillars to meet the SDG. And I think this is a critical, it's not only in Brazil, but it's everywhere. The importance of investing in education is a fundamental investment that is needed to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
Thank you, everyone. We'll stop now for 10 minutes for a quick coffee break. Thank you for all the speakers and all the attendees here at Zoom.
Olá, Federico.
Bom dia, professor Lauro.
Bom dia, eu sou o próximo a falar, não?
Sí, você próximo a falar. Nós vamos a começar em uns minutos, por favor.
Posso iniciar a apresentação?
Não todavia, ainda não, professor, por favor, uns
Sim.
minutos mais. Tá
Eu
bom?
queria fazer um teste. Quero
Uhum.
fazer um teste, Federico.
Tá bom?
Ok.
Francisco também se conectou. Bom dia, Francisco.
Bom dia a todos.
Bom dia.
Marco, bom dia, também está conectado.
Bom dia.
E João também, eu vi, João, está
Sim,
conectado.
sim, estou aqui. Bom dia a todos.
Bom dia.
Queria ampliar essa tela.
Eh, En la parte de embaixo, você tem quadrado, Lauro, para apresentação.
Sim, eu perdi isso agora.
Ah, então,
Eu estou vendo na
apresenta...
apresentação do Lauro,
Sim,
junto à direita, a último quadradinho junto do lugar que aumenta ali. Dá para ver aqui.
sim. Pode ver, Lauro, na esquina
Sim.
direita.
De novo, você pode explicar?
João, por favor.
Sim, sim, Lauro,
Sim.
no lado direito, bem embaixo, tem um lugar que está escrito 82%, que isso é só aproximação, né? Vai para a esquerda, primeiro botãozinho, que parece uma televisãozinha, clica nele, porque ele vai virar a tela inteira.
Ok. E agora?
Ainda não, mas não sei se tem uma demora aí.
Doutor Lauro,
Crash.
será que você, na hora de projetar, colocou só uma janela? Talvez você tenha que sair e retornar sua projeção como a
Ok.
tela inteira. Ah,
Ok.
foi. Ah, é.
Ok.
Volta como a tela inteira agora, não só como uma janela, na hora de projetar.
Volto com a tela inteira, mas não tô colocando a minha tela para vocês, né? Só
É,
estou aparecendo eu.
quando você entrar, Share Screen, lá embaixo.
Ok, estou.
Aí vai te perguntar se você quer compartilhar a sua tela inteira ou só uma janela. Você coloca a tela inteira.
Ok. Um momento.
Tá.
Aqui está.
Eu morei 3 anos nos Estados Unidos, em Oklahoma, com a parte de genética, e depois em Boston, com a parte de tecnologia e startups. E aí agora eu voltei para o Brasil, resolvi fixar lá.
Hello?
Aqui, sim.
Isso, agora tenta lá embaixo à direita. Clica num livrozinho aberto, no ícone de um livro aberto lá embaixo, no PowerPoint.
Hello, everyone. Welcome
à sua
back
direita.
to our second panel on the role of education, science, and technology on the survival of the Amazon. For those who were not here before, we have translated to Portuguese on Zoom. To access the translation, please go to our Zoom link and you can click on the small icon, the globe icon in the bottom. And I would like now to invite Lauro Barata, who is professor and senior researcher at University of Campinas and the University of Western Pará. João Meirelles, who is CEO at Peabiru Institute. Marco Ehrlich, professor at El Bosque University and former director of science and technology at SINCI. And Francisco Apurinã, postdoctoral fellow at the University of Helsinki. And María Peñaclaros, who is the co-chair of the science panel for the Amazon and professor of ecology and forest management and member of the academic council of Wageningen University. Sorry for my Dutch.
Ok, bom dia a todos. Eu estou com algum problema aqui para... Just a moment, please. Eu acho que eu vou ter que sair e entrar de novo, porque eu não estou encontrando a posição certa da minha apresentação. Please. Tem uma conexão de internet instável. Eu acho que esse é o problema. Talvez poderiam adiantar o outro apresentador enquanto eu resolvo esse problema de internet aqui.
Professor
Se você
Lauro,
quiser,
se você quiser, eu posso compartilhar a apresentação e você vai falando.
Hello? Sorry for that. Por favor, poderia o próximo começar? Porque eu tenho um problema de internet aqui. Estou em Belém. Preciso voltar, pausar e voltar. Ok. Pode ser?
Pode ser, Laura. Acho que a gente pode passar para o próximo, então. So Professor Lauro Barata has a connectivity problem. And
Yeah.
again, I would just like to say that if any of you don't understand Portuguese, you can access this event in Zoom. Put your headphones because we have interpretation there. I have the QR code there where you can go to Zoom. If needed, you just let me know.
No way. You should.
And while Professor Lauro Barata had a connectivity issue, we'll try to put João Meirelles to speak before him.
Yes, I'm here.
Federico, can you hear us?
Yes, Isabel, I can hear you. Let's have João Meirelles first, as you said, please.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
Thank you.
Just a second, please.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm from Instituto Peabiru, and I'll talk very briefly about myself and my experience and Peabiru's experience. I have been running NGOs for the last 40 years. I was the first vice chairman for SOS Atlantic Forest, Instituto, Fundação SOS Mata Atlântica. Also run an institute concerning ecotourism in Brazil, and Peabiru Institute in the last 25 years. I have been living in the Amazon in Belém for 20 years now, and I'm just moving to the interior of São Paulo, and because my granddaughter was born, and I have 9 books about the Amazon. Peabiru is an Amazon-based NGO. We have headquarters in Belém. At the moment, we have 53 people in our permanent staff, although we always have researchers with us. We had just 25 researchers of the Federal University of Pará together with us on mangrove. And also 90% of our staff is from the Amazon, 6% women. And just for you to understand what I'm going to talk very soon, our mission is to foster the protagonism of social groups in the Amazon, to promote full access to their fundamental rights. We basically work in Eastern Brazilian Amazon, although we have been working all over Brazilian Amazon, especially with UNICEF. We are UNICEF's partner at the moment in 5 states of the Amazon, in 300 municipalities. And we basically work besides with international cooperation, with large corporations. And that's a very important thing, because most of the corporations, as VALE representative Malu mentioned, they want to have good neighbors, and we can run programs on family agriculture, on sustainability, and that's what we do, basically. I'm going to expose to you very briefly 4 cases. One is concerning Amazon bees. We have been running for the last 15 years, is the oldest program on an NGO working with non-stinging bees. We move it from a total illegal situation to, for the moment, now we are in a much more organized system, and we have it legalized. The honey from the Amazon bee, I don't know if you can see, this is the honey with a federal stamp, and it's the first time we have it legalized in Brazil. And also legalized the producers, because it's a native species, or there are many native species we work with. We work at least with 6 species. And at the moment, we are also, we have been working in Amapá and Pará states in 20 different municipalities, but we are concentrating our work basically in the outskirts of Belém. And pollination, as you know, is a major environmental service, especially when you consider the cash crops that comes from the Amazon, like açaí, cocoa, and Brazil nut. They fully depend on pollination from non-stinging bees, and the forest itself, as Varvi Kerr and Paulo Nogueira Neto, the ones that initiated the research on native bees, they remind us that 35 to 85% of the species in the forest depend on non-stinging bees.
João, excuse me, João, can you please expand your presentation?
I'm trying, but it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Okay.
I don't know.
No,
it worked before, but now, so I'm. Oh, now it worked.
It works. Thank you.
tried many. Thank you. Sorry about that. So we basically try to work with women, money in the hands of women. You know why? Because women take care of all gender issues, from youth, the child, and the elder people. And money in the hands of men is not a good idea. And of course, we understood from this, we learned from this experience that there is a better territorial governance when we have non-stinging bees. They are not a significant income issue, but they bring people together to discuss their problems. So it's a good tool for environmental protection, for biodiversity understanding, for garbage collecting, and for fire control. Because when you say, look, the bees don't like the fire or either the smoke, it's much nicer, it's a better way of understanding than what's, oh, it's forbidden to put fire, so on. So the challenge is, okay, we work, as you know, as a small NGOs as we are, and we work with more than 300 families, but our target is the 1 million families of family agriculture, Indian groups, Quilombola groups in the Amazon, not only in Brazil. These figures concerns Brazil, but of course we should look at all tropical areas, but especially in the Amazon. So we should understand that we should have bees, beehives, as we have chicken, pork, and everything as part of the business. We have more videos there that you can see. And so this is a quick look of collecting honey from these beehives. A second case that I would very quickly want to stress to you is that we have a big problem in the Amazon, at least in the Brazilian Amazon. I think it's not different in the other countries, is the lack of rural assistance. This is not taken seriously by federal government, neither state or municipal government, unfortunately. This is the biggest issue that we should address. That's why we have been working with large companies on doing that. For example, with Hydro, here is with Hydro, the Norwegian company, works in aluminum, in Barcarena, in the outskirts of Belém. And we have been working with Mombach, Agropalma, Dreyfus, and other companies as well. And we need to go property by property, occupation by occupation, to work with them on assisting them on their needs. And that's a major challenge that we should really address. And not addressing only the production, but what, as Carlos mentioned, this great idea of Institute Amazonia 4.0 is that we have been also doing in another aspect, is trying to have more income out of the production, not only to produce raw materials. We have been working with 40 groups in Barcarena, again, on this project TP6 with support of Hydro Fund. And we support for example, the lady that were working in the street fair and produced liquid from manioc, tucupi, that sold by 25 cents. Now she's selling by $1.8, and that in a sustainable way. And the fourth way that I think we should really address is about long distance learning. We have been producing, because of the COVID, we produced a free course on the Amazon. It's in Portuguese, but there are an option, subtitles in English. That's what we should do. The Amazons, the people that live in the Amazon don't know how comprehensive, how different are the different Amazons. So that's something we should really address. We have been doing, of course, a small course, but we are offering it for free. That's what we need to do in all different areas, from melipona bees, from agriculture, about soils, and of course, the general understanding of the Amazon. So that's a quick presentation. I thank you. I just want to tell you that this proposal that Carlos and especially Adalberto VALE mentioned about the Amazon Institute of Technology, I have been involved on that. That's a great proposal that we hope we address that soon. Thank you.
Thank you, João, for presenting all these really interesting initiatives from Peabiru Institute. I would like now to invite Professor Lauro Barata. Professor Lauro, we have your slides here too, so even... Professor, nós temos aqui também seus slides, então, caso você precise, a gente pode compartilhar daqui.
Bom dia. Espero que vocês estejam vendo meus slides, sim?
Sim, professor.
Ok? Everything is okay. Ok. Bom, eu estou nesse lugar paradisíaco, Amazônia. Esse aqui é o rio Tapajós, que banha Santarém, onde está a minha universidade. Atualmente, eu estou como professor visitante dessa universidade, que se chama Universidade Federal do Oeste do Pará. E o meu laboratório é o laboratório de pesquisa e desenvolvimento de produtos naturais da Amazônia. Não é apenas pesquisa, mas é pesquisa, desenvolvimento e inovação de produtos da região amazônica. A Amazônia tem uma riqueza incalculável em produtos naturais, como vocês podem ver nesses slides, né? Mas, especificamente, eu quero falar sobre os trabalhos que nós fazemos com as frutas da Amazônia, com os óleos essenciais da Amazônia, com as plantas que são chamadas de óleos e gorduras da Amazônia, né? E plantas medicinais da Amazônia. Esses números que vocês veem aqui, eles são reais, eles são de produtos de pesquisa de professores, como, por exemplo, o professor Walter Moss, que foi meu professor no mestrado, e outros colegas. Nós temos 350 óleos essenciais de plantas aromáticas, mas apenas 5 estão no comércio. Temos 84 espécies de plantas oleaginosas, e apenas uma meia dúzia está sendo utilizada, e 1.450 plantas medicinais que foram descritas por Walter Moss há 20 anos atrás, e apenas 5 desses produtos viraram medicamentos no Brasil. Isso é inacreditável. Claro, nós temos oportunidade para pesquisar esses produtos naturais da Amazônia, principalmente devido a essa crescente demanda mundial de matérias-primas naturais da Amazônia. Nós temos expertise de pesquisadores, nós temos conhecimento científico, muito conhecimento científico, mas muito pouca tecnologia. O grande problema dos nossos produtos naturais é a falta de qualidade tecnológica. Isso depois eu vou abordar. A nossa biodiversidade pode se transformar, sim, em bioprodutos, utilizando processos biotecnológicos, que é o que nós fazemos com os meus alunos no meu laboratório. Esses produtos eles podem chegar até a sociedade, as empresas, as comunidades, e é esse o processo que nós estamos realizando dentro do nosso laboratório, um processo de estudar a biodiversidade através de bioeconomia. Durante talvez 20 ou 30 anos, eu sempre trabalhei com bioeconomia, só que eu não sabia que isso era bioeconomia. Sempre aplicando, sempre que possível, as nossas pesquisas científicas em produtos, para a sociedade. Agora, na Amazônia, depois de 12 anos que eu estou em Santarém, no estado do Pará, que fica a 800 quilômetros de Belém, agora sim nós trabalhamos com a sociobioeconomia, quando nós envolvemos aqui o homem, a mulher, as crianças, as pessoas da Amazônia, os 25 milhões de pessoas da Amazônia, nesse processo, tanto quanto possível, através de nossas pesquisas na universidade e através de nossos contatos com empresas. Para desenvolver bioeconomia é um processo multidisciplinar. Não se faz isso sozinho. Nós trabalhamos com ecólogos, biólogos, agrônomos, economistas. E eu preciso dizer aqui que uma das coisas que nós temos feito com meus estudantes de doutorado e de mestrado é uma disciplina que eu chamei de bioeconomia na Amazônia. Bioeconomia na Amazônia. Essa disciplina, ela de 50, 40 horas, 45 horas, os estudantes se transformam em pesquisadores, mas não apenas pesquisadores, eles se transformam os produtos da biodiversidade em produtos para a comunidade. O nosso pós-graduação se chama Sociedade, Natureza e Desenvolvimento. Então, o nosso objetivo é transformar esses produtos, essas matérias-primas em produtos para todas essas indústrias farmacêuticas, de nutracêuticos, de bioinseticida, de cosmético e de perfumaria. Eu vou dar alguns exemplos aqui. Nós temos nos localizado, nós temos focado muito mais na área de cosmética. Por quê? Porque o Brasil é um dos principais players nessa área é o quarto do mundo na área de cosméticos, na indústria de cosméticos. Nós estamos rodando 23 bilhões de dólares por ano nesse país. Todo brasileiro consome, todos consomem produtos cosméticos. O Brasil é o segundo maior mercado de fragrâncias e o mercado global, que é de 326 bilhões de dólares, ele quer os produtos da nossa biodiversidade. De toda maneira, os produtos, as indústrias no Brasil, na área de cosméticos, são 3.400 indústrias, não é? A maioria delas, 75% é de grandes indústrias, mas nós temos 68 indústrias em toda a Amazônia, o que é muito pouco. E temos 23 no estado do Pará, onde está a minha universidade, e ainda é muito pouco. E apenas uma em Santarém, numa cidade de 300 mil habitantes, onde eu habito. Então, esse mercado é muito atrativo e nós estamos desenvolvendo produtos para esse mercado com comunidades aqui próximo, como eu vou mostrar, próximo da minha universidade. Aqui eu tenho um timeline dos nossos produtos naturais, principalmente para mostrar como nós temos trabalhado desde 1976, não é? Com empresas como essa empresa que eu fundei em 1992, da Flora Amazon, depois com estudos de resíduos industrial da Andiroba, trabalhei com o grupo Axê, uma instalação com uma usina de produção de óleo da Amazônia numa comunidade do Amazonas, chamada Bauana, a comunidade de Bauana. Né? Mais recentemente, eu sou um missionário do Carlos Nobre, que acabou de falar para vocês, quando eu trabalhei com ele no processo de mudança climática. Mais recentemente, atualmente, nós estamos trabalhando com o Carlos Nobre com os azeites gourmet da Amazônia, que é um desses projetos do Laboratório Criativos da Amazônia. Devido a esses trabalhos todos que nós temos feito, principalmente com óleos essenciais, eu recebi uma medalha da International Federation of Essential Oils e Aroma, FREIT. Então, um reconhecimento do nosso trabalho. Mais tarde, o prêmio Samuel Benchimol. E, muito recentemente, esse ano, eu fundei uma empresa chamada Amazon, que é para desenvolver um dermocosmético antioxidante de um resíduo da indústria. Eu vou falar isso em seguida. Os produtos naturais da Amazônia, eles podem ser utilizados em cosméticos e alimentos em produtos medicinais e energia. Nós temos problemas, nós temos um grande problema aqui, porque a nossa economia na Amazônia é baseada em commodities. Isso são minérios, energia, e da biodiversidade nós extraímos madeira. É um negócio terrível. Nós estamos exportando cerca de 200 milhões de dólares da nossa floresta, mesmo na nossa região, onde eu estou, em Santarém, lá em Santarém. Nós temos, as comunidades exploram 2.000 hectares por ano dessa biodiversidade para produzir apenas madeira. E nós temos um trabalho imenso com essas comunidades para mostrar que, se a gente mantiver a Amazônia em pé, nós podemos usar esses produtos para produtos finais, como cosméticos ou como produtos medicinais. Infelizmente, a nossa biodiversidade amazônica, as nossas matérias-primas são negociadas como commodities, entre 1 e 10 dólares, e eles não têm a qualidade exigida. Tem muito pouco envolvimento dos nossos pesquisadores das universidades com comunidades e empresas locais. Nós temos uma razoável produção científica, mas temos baixo envolvimento em tecnologia. Esses são os problemas. Mas eu não quero falar apenas dos problemas, eu quero falar das soluções. As soluções são, a solução básica é agregar valor a essas matérias-primas, conferindo qualidade, padronizando os produtos da biodiversidade. Padronizar significa fazer o perfil químico dessas matérias-primas, estabelecer padrões de qualidade. Com isso, nós conseguimos chegar às grandes indústrias, às pequenas e grandes indústrias. Nós temos condição de desenvolver tecnologias de baixo impacto. Nós temos parcerias de pesquisadores com universidades, comunidades e empresas locais. É o que nós fazemos, porque nós acreditamos que a sobrevivência da Amazônia passa pela sociobioeconomia. Aqui tem alguns exemplos de produtos que nós trabalhamos com andiroba, primeiro com óleo de andiroba, mais tarde com o resíduo que sobra da andiroba. Não há tempo para discutir isso. Nós instalamos uma indústria em Carauari, uma usina de óleo de andiroba em Carauari, que está funcionando até hoje. Ela produz matérias-primas para a empresa chamada Natura, com um faturamento mensal de 16 mil dólares. Isso é fato. Nós estamos empregando nosso esforço agora no estudo de resíduos. Aqui nessa slide você vê quantos resíduos você tem de produtos naturais da Amazônia, de castanha, cupuaçu, cacau, dendê, jatobá e açaí. Então, tudo isso são resíduos, mas isso não é um lixo, isso é um coproduto. É coisa que nós temos que transformar isso em produtos. Aqui, mostrando um trabalho que nós fizemos e publicamos com o professor Carlos Nobre. Não é? Primeiro, nós focamos nos produtos naturais da floresta e depois nós focamos nas comunidades que são dependentes dessas mudanças climáticas. Então, isso mostra que é possível o cientista trabalhar não só em aspecto tecnológico de inovação, mas também publicar em boas revistas. Certo? Esse é o trabalho que nós estamos fazendo com a Amazônia 4.0, que são os gourmet, óleo de Amazônia, que nós temos o apoio da Cargill, temos suporte da Cargill, e para transformar o açaí, o Brasil Nut, o Tucumã, o Buriti e o Patauá em óleos gourmet da Amazônia. Esse trabalho está em processo. Um outro trabalho que nós temos é com os óleos essenciais, 2 deles que estão no comércio. Eu mostrei naquela primeira transparência que tem 350 óleos essenciais possíveis da Amazônia, apenas 5 estão no comércio. E o nosso laboratório levou 2 para o comércio, o óleo de prepioca e o óleo de pau-rosa, rosewood oil. Rosewood oil é óleo de pau-rosa. Além disso, também temos trabalhos com o cumaru, com a Paiva e com o breu. No ano 2000, eu me envolvi com um projeto da Chanel para o desenvolvimento de óleos essenciais das folhas de rosewood, das folhas de pau-rosa. Havia problemas sérios que não dá tempo para discutir agora, na área de extração das madeiras de pau-rosa, derrubando da floresta. Nós oferecemos uma solução com 5 cenários. Por que não plantar pau-rosa? Isso foi o que nós fizemos. Isso, hoje, todo o óleo de pau-rosa é produzido de folhas do pau-rosa. Temos 2 pequenas indústrias que estão na Amazônia, que produzem 4.000 quilogramas de óleo de pau-rosa, de plantações, depois a poda, trimming, né? Uma poda, a extração e obtenção de óleo essencial para perfumaria fina. Isso está acontecendo já na Amazônia. Nós salvamos a Amazônia, o óleo de pau-rosa, a madeira de pau-rosa, a espécie pau-rosa foi salva por esse projeto. E aqui, esquematicamente, nós demonstramos que é possível plantar em 20 hectares 10.000 mudas e conseguir 1 tonelada, 1.000 quilos de óleo. Isso significa um revenue de $400.000 por ano. É isso que essas empresas fazem de modo sustentável, baseado em projetos que nós desenvolvemos na universidade. Então, a tecnologia de extração do óleo essencial de pau-rosa salvou a espécie da destruição. Como eu disse, temos 2 empresas que trabalham com isso, por isso nós recebemos esse prêmio internacional. Atualmente, nós estamos mais focados no óleo de priprioca, e nós publicamos muitos trabalhos com os resíduos da priprioca e com o óleo essencial da priprioca. Aqui nós vemos um dos nossos estudantes na plantação de priprioca em terra de comunidade, de uma família comunitária de Santarém. Nós desenvolvemos todos os trabalhos e, por último, para terminar, nós acabamos de produzir uma pesquisa que usa o resíduo de agroindústria da Amazônia para desenvolvimento de um dermocosmético, com o conceito de upcycling. Nós estamos pegando um lixo industrial e transformando em um dermocosmético. Para isso, eu criei essa empresa com colegas este ano. Então, esse produto deve ir para o mercado, nós vamos oferecer esse produto para o mercado. Então, isso, de um modo geral, é o trabalho que nós fazemos na Amazônia, e o que nós acreditamos que nós temos que fazer esse concerto entre as universidades, as comunidades, o governo e a bioindústria. Isso é o caminho que eu vejo para ajudar a Amazônia a sair dessa situação. E por isso eu agradeço a todos vocês a paciência de me escutar. Muito obrigado.
Obrigada, professor. Obrigada por apresentar alguns dos produtos da sociobiodiversidade para a gente. And now I'd like to invite Professor Dr. Marco Ehrlich to join us here. Thank you. Marco?
Yes, I am here. Good afternoon to everybody.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to be part of this event. This is marvelous opportunity. I'm trying to share the screen, but I think Professor has to first give me the permission. Fine. Well, again, good afternoon. This is my name is Marco Ehrlich. I used to be a professor. I mean, I'm still a professor, but I mean, I used to be director of science and technology for the Amazon Institute of the Colombian Amazon, Sinchi, and I'm here to talk specifically about the impact of education, science, and technology on the conservation and sustainable development of the Amazon. I will kind of be more general and at the same time and come back to some of the concrete examples of this kind of impact and the relevance and importance of education, science, and technology for the conservation of the Amazon and its sustainable development and the well-being of its people, of course. So my presentation, let's see if I can share it with you. Still nothing. Oh yes, sorry. Gotcha. There's too many clicks along the way. Here we go. This is so we go immediately to the point. I think it's there's nothing more critical than education to save the Amazon, because there is if we understand, or we've been talking a lot about bioeconomy. Professor Carlos has been talking about it, Alberto, and the other colleagues have been talking about the strategic importance of science and technology to support the bioeconomy. So there is we go to the point immediately. Now, just a little reminder to start to kind of get into the topic. The immensity I know from Europe and from other countries that are not part of the Amazon, it's very difficult to visualize the magnitude of this biome, this immense tropical forest. And I think it is important to therefore remind us all about its magnitude and its impact and its strategic role in climate change. I mean, the Amazon absorbs 500 million tons of CO2 per year, pumps 20,000 million tons of water into the atmosphere every day, and obviously functions as a planetary thermostat and heat pump for the planet. So it has a strategic role in mitigating climate change. What stands at the base, at the pillar of building knowledge, skills, and shared values to really underpin the conservation of the Amazon biome and its sustainable development? Education. I think Professor Adalberto said it many times. Educación. And I think that's absolutely critical role. In my presentation, we'll just go through very fast through 5 points. Sorry for the numbering here; it's a little bit off. But anyway, the first important aspect that affects education in the Amazon region is access to quality education and technical training. I think access is the key word in this case. Second section or chapter, I would say, I want to emphasize the importance of inclusive and focused professional and technical training. And the third, I think we should emphasize and stress the strategic importance of applied science, focused applied science, and appropriate technology. And fourth, the connection, and that has been mentioned in many opportunities by my colleagues before his presentation. The support to local entrepreneurship, involving the business, private sector businesses, creating business out of knowledge and technology in the Amazon. I think that's absolutely critical. And I will close this presentation with a few examples from Colombia, Brazil, and Peru. Let's go straight to the first one. It's access to quality education. I think if we had, from a disastrous pandemic, a tragedy, I would say, a tragic pandemic period, we also learned some things. There's some lessons learned, very important. And one is that we finally got to use the communication in a more sophisticated way. This event, for example, it's an example of being able to bring together people from all over the world and share ideas, share thoughts, share concepts, and learning and teaching. So I think that's a very important lesson learned, which should transform the strategy, I mean, the approach to education in the Amazon region. So we need to develop technologies, communication platforms, take advantage of improved connectivity, not to say the new satellite communications. I think that will make the Amazon much closer to the center of research and development and science, and I think that will have an incredible impact in the Amazon, because we need to bring education to the region, to the forest, not just to the cities, but also to the inland areas, more isolated areas of the Amazon. I don't need to go too much in detail. We have new methodologies to teach the massive online communication systems, the online education training, the webinars and things that are being used very effectively and efficiently across the board, and I think that's going to be the near future, and hopefully a very impact, a future with a lot of impact in the region. We can also go beyond that, be more sophisticated using artificial intelligence. We can create new curricula. We can develop webinars and virtual field trips into the Amazon. I think that opens up opportunities in terms to get to the Amazon without flying to the Amazon, so to speak. We can see the Amazon, experience the Amazon, which I think is something that most people on the planet would like to have this opportunity. Well, this opportunity might be more forthcoming and more available in the near future through virtual and artificial intelligence. Finally, I want to stress that when we talk about education, both primary education and higher education, we always end up talking about the urban context of the Amazon, and we bring we improve education in the cities and the universities that are located in the urban centers of the Amazon. Well, I think we need to be more creative. We need to break this little paradigm. This paradigm. We now have technology. We need to bring education into the forest, bit farther away from the cities of the region. I think that's absolutely important, and also develop non-urban, rural agendas of forest and river agendas for the Amazon. I think that's very, very important. Let's go to the second point. Also, something that identify in terms of what's the reality of education in the Amazon. Well, the reality is that the Amazonian people go to get educated, end up in the cities, in the capital cities or in the provincial towns, and end up learning to become attorneys, to become engineers, transport specialists or whatever, but really or energy specialists, and somehow far away from the realities of what's needed in the region. And so what we need is an educational and training strategy that is much more inclusive, which means involves directly and actively involves the people from the forest, people from the rural areas of the Amazon, the deep Amazon, and also something that really that trains them into the technical skills that are really needed to develop new products, to protect effectively the forest and develop new economy, new bioeconomies for these regions. I think we need more entrepreneurs. I will come back to that. It's very important. But we also need specialist technologists and technicians that respond to the needs of the region. And also, there's a very important thing: the inclusiveness obviously refers to the necessity to talk the language of the people of the Amazon. So recovering the languages of
Hello. Federico, Marco froze. I don't know if the whole Zoom froze or if it was just Marco. Can you hear me?
Yes, I think it's Marco's connection, Isabella.
the cultural heritage.
Okay, he's back. Oh. Marco, we lost you for some minutes. Can you continue, please? You are muted.
Sorry. Should I go back minutes or seconds?
Yes, some seconds ago, 30 seconds
maybe 30
ago.
seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Marco,
Okay.
just to let you
Yes.
know that we still have 3 minutes left.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I will not go back then. So we just pick it up from where we are. And let me see. Do you see? Okay. So again, we need to inspire our pensum and curricula for education on the forest, on the rivers, and the communities in the Amazon. We have to kind of be very, very creative in that respect. We just can we can teach mathematics and algebra and whatever, but using somehow the imagery and the kind of elements of the forest. I think that's important. We also need to train many more local professionals. We need to develop technical schools, and we need to continue training for teachers. So that's absolutely important. I will come back later at the end on field schools, forest schools, and that kind of locally based educational facilities, which kind of promote the horizontal transfer of knowledge and exchange of knowledge across, and also involve much more the local and traditional knowledge. Let me go to the one important aspect here. Now it's more broader view of educational strategy for the Amazon. As I said, there's no bioeconomy without science and technology and innovation. So definitely we need to promote and invest much more in state-of-the-art technology and innovation. Here, the proposal that Roberto and Carlos mentioned about the Amazon Institute of Technology is absolutely critical. We need an AMIT, an Amazon Institute of Technology, as a network of research institutions of the countries of the Amazon biome, Amazon region, to work together, to work collaboratively on research and development and innovation. Again, we have to strengthen the research networks, both regional and international. Very important. They already exist, but they need to be strengthened considerably. We need to accept and strengthen collaborative research, South-South and North-South, absolutely critical to advance technology and innovation. And we also, again, as it was mentioned by Carlos and Roberto and others, we need a participatory, inclusive research approaches that involve, that incorporate native and local people's knowledge and know-how. This is my last, before the last slide, which is we need an education which trains entrepreneurs. We need to make the link from research and science to business, to the market. We need to produce new products, but also we need to develop the markets and a strategy to get to the market. So I think this link is absolutely critical. So we need to develop sustainable value chains. I mean, both my speakers before me mentioned some very good examples of sustainable value chains based on local products and niche markets, and also there was a mention about how to scale these niche markets to markets that are way beyond the local sphere, and so make it much more profitable and much more greater impact the enterprise. And also again emphasis that we need to capture aggregate value by transforming raw materials from the forests and the rivers, add values and gain markets. And there is also the thing. One thing is the content, the other thing is the story about the product. Not only new products and transforming new products, but also accompanying these products to get to the market. I mean, it's one thing is a fruit from orchard in the US or in Europe or in Chile, and another thing is fruit from the Amazon. For most people in the world looking for new things, and they will definitely buy these products because of the story it carries along. And finally, I mean, it's important that we develop, we kind of support, and there's been talk about it in a different fora, international fora, about creating a bioeconomy fund. Some do exist already, to strengthen local enterprises, to train local entrepreneurs to become more efficient, more effective, and reach the market with new biodiversity products from the Amazon. Last slide. The three examples of schools that are Amazonian schools that are focused on entrepreneurship and that are kind of promoting local bioeconomies. The Escuela Bosque Amazonia Emprende is in Caquetá, Colombia, is a field school focused on productive restoration and local forest-based entrepreneurship. There you have the webpage address. It's an absolutely fascinating school, which is growing very rapidly in terms of impact and interest. Second example is from the state of Amazonas. It's a project being promoted by FAS, Fundación Amazonia Sustentável. And it's a field school with integrated development with a lot of interesting aspect that really gives an example
Marco?
of. See?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we go to the
I'm closing.
conclusions? Yes, I'm really
Yes.
sorry. Just we need to go.
Yeah. And the virtual connectivity with the educational facilities from these communities deep into the Rio Negro with the universities and research centers in Manaus, for example. And the last one is Peabiru, is Amazonia Quelate, is a network of initiatives that focus on entrepreneurship, bioproducts, and bioeconomy and conservation. And it's based mostly on an exchange of experiences and teaching and learning. There you have as well the web page addresses, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco. Eu gostaria agora de convidar o senhor Francisco Apurinã. Francisco, tá aí?
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Bom, Francisco foi o nome que o cartório do município de Boca do Acre me deu. Meu nome verdadeiro é Iumuniri, aquele que se alimenta de carne humana. Eu vou começar essa humilde apresentação trazendo uma fala do professor Ailton Krenak, indígena do povo Krenak, quando ele fala assim: se as pessoas não tiverem vínculos profundos com sua memória ancestral, com as referências que dão sustentação a uma identidade, vão ficar loucos neste mundo maluco que compartilhamos. Bom, saúdo a todos os palestrantes, parabenizo a todos pelas suas magníficas exposições. Diferente dos demais até aqui, pelo que eu vi, eu não trouxe nenhuma apresentação em PowerPoint, porque o que eu vou falar, ela se enquadra também no campo do metafísico, do simbólico, do invisível, do imaginário. Então, nem cabe estar mostrando certas coisas do que eu vou falar, tá certo? Então, eu convido vocês aqui para a gente poder embarcar todo mundo numa canoa e a gente fazer uma viagem aí breve, né, de 15 minutos apenas, talvez pela cosmologia, pelo conhecimento e pelo saber do povo Apurinã. Como o título diz do evento, o papel da educação, da ciência e da tecnologia na sobrevivência da Amazônia. Eu não consigo olhar para esse texto, eu não consigo olhar para esse slogan e não associar os povos indígenas como os principais atores nesse processo de sobrevivência da Amazônia, até porque nós já fazemos isso. Nós já fazemos isso sem ser pago, sem ter um apoio necessário para cuidar da biodiversidade, para cuidar da Amazônia, para cuidar do planeta. Esse mesmo planeta que se encontra adoecido hoje. Então, faz-se necessário nós cientistas, nós pesquisadores, nós pertencentes de qualquer nação, etnia ou povo, a gente dar as mãos com os nossos conhecimentos e boas intenções em prol de achar a cura do planeta. Bom, eu não poderia deixar aqui de começar a falar sobre essa questão da educação, né? Da educação. Os primeiros passos dados de um Apurinã é dentro de uma educação informal, ou seja, uma educação indígena. Aquela educação que a gente não necessariamente precisa estar dentro de uma sala de aula, que não necessariamente precisa ter um professor na nossa frente que tenha diploma de mestre, de doutor, de pedagogo, de cientista, mas essa educação do qual eu estou falando, eu me refiro à sala de aula como as margens de um rio, as margens de um igarapé, as margens de um lago, a sombra de uma samaúma, a sombra de um tabocal, a sombra de uma castanheira, em que os professores são geralmente os nossos pais, avós, tios, os nossos pajé, os nossos mende, os nossos grandes criadores e detentores do saber indígena. E muito apesar de ser tido pela sociedade dita dominante ocidental, que os povos originários não têm ciência, mas eu confesso para vocês que o meu pai ele nunca passou na frente de uma escola, mas ele falava de coisas que ainda ia acontecer e que está acontecendo. Ele fazia coisas que muitas pessoas desacreditavam. E ele nunca sentou no banco de uma universidade. Portanto, eu aqui escutando o que o professor Lauro Barata estava falando um pouco sobre a bioeconomia, é mais uma fala que eu não consigo ver essa temática dissociada dos povos originários. Eu sou autor da nova economia, aliás, desculpa, eu sou um dos autores da nova economia na Amazônia, a NEA, que há uns 2 meses atrás foi lançada em Belém, e aonde a gente traz uma perspectiva, uma visão da bioeconomia através da ótica dos povos originários, dos povos indígenas. Como é que a gente pensa essa bioeconomia a partir dos detentores do saber local de cada região? Bom, fazer esse movimento da aldeia para a universidade me fez pensar em ser um nativo em trânsito. Aonde o meu maior desafio foi chegar na academia, aprender os conhecimentos acadêmicos, dito ocidentais dominantes, mas sem esquecer aquilo que meus pais, meus avós, meus tios me ensinaram. Porque eu acredito que a academia ela precisa nos reconhecer, ela precisa estar preparada para receber esse estudante diferente. Então, para mim, esses dois conhecimentos eles precisam ser complementares. Eles não podem ser conflituosos, eles não podem ser divergentes. E, para mim, eu encarei a academia nesse sentido. Com que os conhecimentos... Eu sou antropólogo de formação, e a antropologia, os ensinamentos antropológicos, eles só foram complementar aquilo que meu pai e meus avós já me diziam na minha adolescência, na minha infância, né? Através de nossas histórias orais, através da educação informal, onde ele, aos 4, 5 anos de idade, meus pais, meus avós já me levavam para caçar, já me levavam para flechar peixe, já me levavam para o roçado, já me levavam para conhecer os conhecimentos da natureza, aquilo que se convencionou ser chamado hoje de meio ambiente, de biodiversidade. Não consigo falar nada em relação à Amazônia, à natureza, sem me conectar com esses diferentes saberes, com esses diferentes conhecimentos, como espaço de transmissão de conhecimento, manutenção, manejo, sustentabilidade. Então, para mim, o meio ambiente mas como eu vou chamar aqui a natureza, é esse ser envolvente aonde eu e você, cada um de nós, inclusive os não humanos ou os mais que humanos, né? Eu não sei quem é que inventou essa história de dizer que nós somos o centro de tudo, mas a gente não tem o poder da cobra, nós não temos o poder dos pássaros de voar, nós não temos o poder dos peixes, de outros seres aquáticos, de ficar morando debaixo d'água, e alguns outros ainda moram tanto na terra como na água. E ainda mais, não sei quem nos apelidou de seres racionais, porque eu gostaria de ter a irracionalidade dos animais, porque assim, quem sabe, eu seria um humano melhor. Bom, saindo um pouquinho desse contexto da educação, porque o tempo não me cabe falar, me aprofundar ainda mais, mas eu gostaria de trazer agora, falar os meus últimos minutos, e, por favor, vocês me avisem, tá? Quando estiver faltando aí 2, 3 minutos, eu não tenho como me controlar aqui. Falar de um assunto que eu acredito que seja pauta de discussão de uma forma universal, que é aquilo que se convencionou ser chamado de mudanças climáticas, aquecimento global e, mais recentemente, antropoceno, que, juntando tudo isso, nada mais é do que a destruição do planeta, da natureza, através das ações antrópicas, através das ações humanas, né? Então, assim, para nós entender esse contexto, é importante a gente saber de onde é que a gente veio. O que é que nós estamos fazendo aqui? Para onde a gente pretende ir depois daqui? Qual é o tratamento, qual é a relação que nós estamos estabelecendo com esse espaço chamado Terra? Porque para nós, Apurinã, existe pelo menos 3 mundos. Ikirashite, a terra de cima, Iashite, a terra do meio, e Ikarashite, que é a terra de baixo. Essa terra de baixo é habitada pelos encantados, pelos encantes. A terra do meio são habitada por nós, seres humanos e não humanos. E a terra de cima é habitada pelos seres celestiais. Mas esse mundo chamado Terra, da onde nós estamos, que é o que nos interessa talvez falar hoje com mais eminência, é importante a gente saber qual é a nossa relação que nós estamos estabelecendo com essa terra do meio. Terra que, por exemplo, os Apurinã ficou aqui por engano. A minha cosmologia conta que nós saímos de uma terra que ninguém adoecia, que ninguém morria, que ninguém sofria, por uma outra terra chamada Ikutushite. Saímos de Cairico numa jornada épica, juntamente com outros povos indígenas. E quando a gente chega nessa terra do meio, essa terra de cupim, essa terra que morre, que sofre, a gente se encantou pela beleza daqui. Enquanto isso, os outros povos que vinham com a gente foram seguindo na frente e se dispersaram de nós. E quando a gente observou que eles estavam muito distantes, que a gente quis acompanhar, um pássaro chamado uru, que é parente da inambu, que tem na floresta amazônica, ela ciscou o caminho para onde os outros povos tinham ido, e a gente não conseguiu mais encontrar os outros povos, e nós ficamos nessa terra morredora, nessa terra que sofre, nessa terra que adoece. Então, diante desse contexto, desse entusiasmo por essa terra, a gente precisa saber qual é o nosso papel aqui. A gente precisa saber qual é a relação que eu vou estabelecer com essa terra criada também por um demiurgo chamado Tsurá, criador do povo Apurinã e de toda a natureza e do que há nela, de todas as vidas que existem nela. Diante de 3 mundos e diante do mundo do meio, nós temos diversos ecossistemas. Nós temos diversos ecossistemas terrestres e aquáticos. E cada ecossistema desse possui um ser guardião, protetor desses espaços e protetor de outras vidas que neles habitam. Tá certo? E o grande...
Francisco,
Oi?
Desculpa te interromper. Não. Faltam 2 minutos, mas você pediu para eu te avisar. Então, faltam 2 minutos.
Beleza. Tá bom, obrigado. Como vocês estão vendo, o tempo é muito pouco para a gente continuar andando nessa canoa, né? Mas vamos lá, eu vou finalizar. Então, para cada espaço desses na natureza, existe um ser guardião, um ser protetor. E esses lugares sagrados para nós, Apurinã, de onde vem a alimentação, não somente física, mas, sobretudo, cognitiva, espiritual, para os Apurinã, estão sendo destruídos de várias formas. E essa destruição estão apelidando de mudanças climáticas, aquecimento global, mais recentemente de antropoceno. Mas se a gente perguntar para o indígena, ele vai dizer que isso é simplesmente a natureza e esses guardiões reagindo contra a destruição desses espaços e dessas vidas que neles estão. Então, isso é como a gente enxerga e como a gente olha para essas transformações ecológicas, ambientais e climáticas. E quero aqui encerrar a minha fala trazendo mais uma frase de Ailton Krenak. A nossa mãe, a Terra, nos dá de graça o oxigênio, nos põe para dormir, nos desperta de manhã com o sol, deixa os pássaros cantar, as correntezas dos rios e do garapés e as brisas se moverem. Cria esse mundo maravilhoso para compartilhar entre humanos e não humanos. Mas o que a gente está fazendo com essa mãe chamada Terra? Deixo essa pergunta para que cada um de vocês reflita o que nós estamos fazendo com ela, qual a nossa relação com ela. Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigada, Francisco, por destacar o papel fundamental dos povos indígenas na sobrevivência da Amazônia. Agora a gente vai ter um momento para questions and answers. Sorry, I'll switch back to English. We'll have a quick Q&A before passing the floor to Meirelles for final remarks. I don't know if anyone here in the room has a question for the speakers. If we can please put the speakers, yes, great, thank you. If we don't have any questions here now, we have questions coming from Zoom. Oh, okay, I'll have one question here and one from Zoom, and then we'll move to Meirelles, because unfortunately our time is almost up.
Bom, então vou fazer em português. Meu nome é Renato. A gente ouve muito falar, acho que a pergunta acaba sendo para o...
Pode olhar para aqui.
Posso? Acho que a pergunta acaba sendo dirigida aí para o João, talvez, ou talvez o Barata, ou eventualmente o Francisco. A gente vê muito esforço top-down, né, nessa questão. A gente vê solução pronta sendo criada, né, no conforto dos escritórios, dinheiro, fundos, e essas soluções sendo, né, entregues e empregadas, né, com sucesso variável, né, no território. A minha pergunta é bem direta. Tem iniciativas quais são as iniciativas, né, que vale a pena chamar atenção e prestar atenção, de coordenação de movimentos no nível do território mesmo, no nível, né, regional, quer dizer, um movimento grassroots, né, que não seja interessado necessariamente numa aplicação comercial direta, né, seja mais, a gente sabe que tem uma série de valores, né, de educação, de divisão de conhecimento, de fortalecimento dessas redes que precisa ser feito para olhar as questões que são, né, as necessidades primeiras, antes da venda do produto, antes da captura do carbono, quer dizer, carbono, né? Carbono é um assunto de rico, né? Então, o que falha, na opinião de vocês, do que está acontecendo hoje, né, no território, né, amazônico, em termos de fortalecimento dessas redes, de preparação para o momento, claro, comercial que vem aí, aliar com esse capital financeiro, construir as pontes necessárias, mas a partir da perspectiva de quem está lá. tem iniciativas que vale a pena, né, serem chamadas, trazidas aqui para, né, o holofote? Gostaria muito de saber. Essa é a minha pergunta. Obrigado.
Obrigada. João, desculpa, antes de você responder, tudo bem se eu já fizer logo a segunda pergunta, que aí a gente pode já fazer esse bloco. What strategies should be considered when addressing the impact of scientific information on Amazonian threats, including issues like illegal mining, and monoculture plantations?
So I will respond the first question. I'll give two examples. One is about açaí. Açaí was a non-existent product 20 years ago. When I arrived in Belém, it was not really consumed out of there. Now we have 200,000 families involved in açaí, but we have 100,000 children working in açaí. We have 300,000 people with precarious jobs. 8% of the income stays in the forest, let's say, the catchers, but 90% of the risks. Okay, the market did the good thing to spread the word about açaí, showing it's possible to become something in the economy, but in the real economy, açaí just represents 2% of the real economy. Mining is about 40%, cattle ranch about 30%, service and so on. So we have really to understand the point of view of local people. For example, about the native bees. I guess Francisco and his people and other groups that we have been working knows a lot about non-stinging bees, the native bees. But what really we have to solve first, the local people want to solve first, it's about safety in terms of water safety, food safety, and safety in terms of access to land. I have to finalize, I have a phrase from a 4-year child telling to her mother, just by the bee box, the beehives in the beehives area, her mother was pregnant of another child, and this young, very young lady was saying, "Mother, we need to have a beehive for my new sister that's going to be born." So these two examples, the açaí, the boom, but that's not, the risk is only local, and the perspective of pollination service, food security, it's what we really should address. The rest is the rest.
Please, Lauro. Lauro, pode. Lauro, você está no mudo. Professor Lauro, você está no mudo.
Sorry. Acho que o João colocou questões muito sérias a respeito desses produtos naturais, que nós chamamos de bioeconomia, mas ainda a sociobioeconomia não está dentro do assunto açaí. É por isso eu acho que a resposta é o que o professor Carlos Nobre trouxe para nós aqui, para mim, há 3, 4 anos atrás, para nós todos aqui, que é o programa Amazônia 4.0, levar essas iniciativas para dentro das comunidades. Está fazendo isso, ele mostrou no mapa as comunidades. Eu sei que eu tive uma reunião com o Ismael Nobre muito recentemente, mostrou os lugares, ele está levando toda essa iniciativa para dentro da comunidade, comunidades ribeirinhas, comunidades daqui da Amazônia mais pobre, tão rica de possibilidades e tão pobre de IDH. Então, eu acho que a resposta a solução seria esse programa Amazônia 4.0. Existem outras possibilidades, outras iniciativas, sem dúvida, mas essa é uma das que nós estamos altamente envolvidos. Obrigado.
Francisco, Marco, vocês gostariam de responder?
Sim, eu gostaria sim. Bom, respondendo a primeira pergunta, a outra eu não entendi porque foi em inglês e eu só falo português e é a minha língua materna, língua Apurinã. Eu não entendo inglês. Eu falei isso para quem me contactou. As coisas, elas tendem a não dar certo exatamente por essa falta de, aliás, muitos projetos que são destinados à Amazônia e mais precisamente aos povos originários, eles tendem a não dar certo porque esses conceitos de biodiversidade, de sustentabilidade, de xamanismo e agora recentemente de bioeconomia, eles entram na moda. E o entendimento que se tem desse lado de cá não é o mesmo que se tem de lá. Apesar de nós, povos indígenas, falar dos mesmos assuntos, mas isso é falado dentro dos nossos termos, dentro da nossa língua, dentro dos nossos contextos e dentro dos nossos objetivos. E muitas pessoas que adentram as nossas comunidades, as nossas aldeias, elas entram despreparadas para dialogar conosco. Ela não nos conhece. E ainda mais, para mim, existe um grande divisor de água que se chama a dicotomia entre dois conhecimentos, o conhecimento dito ocidental dominante e o conhecimento indígena. Esses conhecimentos, por muito tempo, eles ficam se conflitando, eles ficam se divergindo, porque a forma de nós olhar para a natureza, a forma de nós olhar para os animais, a forma de nós olhar para as árvores, para as madeiras de lei, não é com o olhar do consumismo, não é com o olhar do capitalismo. A gente olha com o olhar da irmã castanheira, o irmão porquinho, a irmã onça, o irmão garapé. É assim que a gente se relaciona com esses seres. Só para finalizar, quando se fala em transformações ecológicas, ambientais e climáticas, as primeiras pessoas a sentirem essas transformações somos nós que estamos na floresta, somos nós que estamos na mata. E não se cria nenhum mecanismo, nenhuma ferramenta de como a gente vai estar preparado para lidar com essas situações. Entendeu? Então, assim, enquanto esses diversos conceitos forem discutidos e adentrados nos nossos territórios da forma que é entendido desse lado de cá, na sociedade nacional, a gente não vai conseguir ter um diálogo produtivo, nem ações produtivas com os povos tradicionais. A gente precisa envolver os povos originários nas discussões do início ao fim e, sobretudo, nas tomadas de decisões. Não aceitamos mais nada para nós sem nós. É isso.
Obrigada, Francisco. Como nós já passamos da hora, gostaria de convidar agora a Meirelles Penha-Claros para as palavras finais. Meirelles, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Isabella, and thank you to all the speakers of this part of the panel and the previous one. Francisco, maybe you can choose also the part. Francisco, você também pode pegar a tradução aí naquele globinho que tem para em português. But I will.
Maria, só um minuto, Maria. Francisco, tem um botão do lado ali embaixo no Zoom, é um globo que está escrito Interpretation. Aí você pode clicar ali e clicar em português.
Ok.
Aí vai, tá? So sorry, going back to English. So thank you all for this extremely interesting session. There are many things that I take with me now. I would like to start with the challenges. I think that Francisco and other speakers have put several challenges to us. I think one of them is really how to make sure that we involve indigenous peoples, but also traditional communities and local communities into the process of decision making and in taking decisions about what is the future that we want for the Amazon. I think that's very crucial. I think the message is very clear that cannot be decided from outside. It has to be done, I think, together. I think also that several of the speakers mentioned the need and the need, but also the challenge to put the different knowledges together in terms of, you know, what plants are being used and how can we use those plants or other resources for providing, for example, oils, or for providing food and so on, and how those can go into different markets. I think that the maybe something that we need also to question ourselves is what market are we targeting with these products that we want to promote. It may be that not all the products that we promote with the new socio-bioeconomy need to go all the way to the international market, but maybe a regional market is sufficient, or a national market. So these, I think, that are questions that we need to solve. And there are certainly a lot of challenges that I think science and technology will be able to will provide answers, but I think is this link with different knowledge and knowledges that are also crucial for answering those questions. Something that I also take with me is the many examples and many initiatives that are already existing in the Amazon. And for that, thank you, the different speakers, João and Lauro, for highlighting some of these existing and really very interesting initiatives that are already taking place in different regions of the Amazon. I think this is something that we do need to do, is to expand and to exchange the experiences that we have with the different regions of the Amazon. I think that that spirit of collaboration, of exchange, of working together is something that I take also from this session. It's also something that has been, that is very much highlighted as well in the Belém Declaration, the need to work as a region in the different countries to exchange information. I think this is something that we really need to join forces to come to bring a different solutions. And something that also that and with this I think I will finalize, something that took my attention in the different presentations is the need of being the need for creativity. We need to be creative when we try to look for solutions. In that sense, research, science, different knowledges is important to solve that. But I think we really need to be creative on how we can, what can we do to be able to provide a more sustainable use of the resources in the Amazon, but more importantly, a better livelihood for all the millions of people that inhabit the Amazon, but also for the whole the population of the global population, because at the end we all depend on the Amazon one way or the other. So with that, I want to thank you again to all the speakers for your presentations, and also to all the people participating online and also in the room for joining us in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meirelles. Thank you, all the speakers and participants. And thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Obrigada.
Thank you. Bye-bye.